start, right? So,
Good evening and welcome to the May 2020 Town of Poughkeepsie Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. If everyone would please stand for a pledge to allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands,
to the republic
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'm going to do the roll call. Tony?
Yes, sir.
Art?
I don't see Art.
Okay. Larry?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can't see you.
Okay. Christine?
Here.
And Phyllis?
Phyllis is connecting.
Phyllis, I see you signed in. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Took a little bit, but I got here. Sorry for the delay.
Okay. And Art? Okay. So tonight's meeting has been convened in accordance with the Governor's March 13th, 2020 Executive Order 202.1, which suspends certain provisions of the Open Meetings Law to allow a municipal board to convene a meeting via video conferencing. In accordance with the executive order, the public has been provided with the ability to view and participate in tonight's meeting by computer, smartphone, or telephone, and to view the meeting on the usual cable television channels. The recording of the meeting will be posted to the town website, and a written transcript of the meeting will be prepared and provided at a later date. There's been a roll call of the board members, and there is a quorum present for the meeting. I have also confirmed with the secretary that this meeting has been duly noticed. We have fulfilled our legal notice requirements by posting a copy of the notice of the meeting on the town's webpage, on the doors of the town hall, as the town bulletin board is within the building and not presently available to the public. We emailed a copy of the notice to the media, and we have confirmation that the legal notices for the public hearings have been properly published. So now to the agenda. Under old business, items 1 and 2, at the request of the applicants, have been adjourned to the June 8th, 2020 meeting. And so we'll go to item number 3. Mr. Shahidi?
Actually, Paul, can we do just a motion for the first two items?
Sure, I'll make a motion to adjourn items 1 and 2 to the June 8th, 2020 meeting at the request of the applicants. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Who seconded it? Christine?
Christine and Phyllis both at the same time.
Okay. And all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so I think that passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Hi, Art just joined.
I'm sorry?
Hi, Art. Welcome.
Oh, Art, okay.
Oh, Art's
I
here?
did join. I had a problem getting in. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, did you vote on that
Too late?
motion?
Should I not worry about it?
Okay.
Look, so where are we, guys?
We're
We
doing
just
number
adjourned
3
items
now.
1 and 2. Art, you're right on time.
What? Okay, thank you. I'm sorry.
Okay, so Mr. Sahidi.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do you
Okay.
swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to provide tonight is true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
Swear.
Okay, so since the last meeting, what's changed, if anything?
Since the last meeting, we got a survey done, and we also did get the drawings for us to actually, do the work that we spoke to, so we can move the side of the garage inside our border.
Okay, and so you submitted new plans that show that a portion of the garage would be 8 inches from the side yard line, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, so I have an email or a letter from a neighbor that I'll read into the record. Dear Town of Poughkeepsie board members, I am opposed to the revised proposal for the location of the existing garage at 8 Hinckley Place. At this time, a survey shows that the existing garage crossed the property line and that is being rectified by a proposed location of 8 inches from the side lot line when 10 feet is required for a building this size. At the last zoning meeting, February 10th, 2020, I asked for the existing garage to be removed for the reasons that the building cannot be maintained without someone being on my property. I also deal with the rainwater and snow melt that comes from the garage because the roof has a 12-inch overhang. I do not see how a setback of 8 inches rectifies either problem. Any building requires at least 3 feet from side lot line, a building permit, a building inspection, and a CO, which this garage does not have any of those. The last meeting, February 10th, 2020, the owner stated that the garage is, quote, sound, end quote. True or not, this should not be reason enough to continue to violate the building and zoning laws. This should not be reason enough for me to have to bear the burden from this building shedding rainwater and snow melt on my property or watching this building fall apart because this building does not have the proper setback for maintenance and repairs. I do not believe the 8 inches being asked for is room enough for any maintenance and repairs. I asked well in the past, I asked at the last meeting, and I'm asking again at this time that this garage be removed. Cordially yours, Janet Consiglio. And she attaches 2 color photographs, which show appears to show the water from a rainstorm. I'm going to submit those into the record. Do you have any comments about that, Mr. Sahidi?
First, I apologize to her and to you guys. We did not know that anything, that garage or that building had this many violations. So I would like to apologize to everyone, each of you. Now, the new plans, the new drawings that we have, it's 8 inches only in the back. At the front of the garage, I believe it's let me see. It's 3 feet. What is it? It's 3 feet and 8 inches. So it's in the end of the garage, which is in the back, it's only 8 inches. But at front, it's 3 feet and 8 inches. We have to go into our border.
So just so I'm clear, on the drawing that you provided, which is the property line, the long dashed line or the short dashed line?
The property line.
Okay.
It's, the dash one.
Okay, so I
the
see a
very
measurement
dark
that goes
dash.
from the proposed new wall to what appears to be the old wall. That's 3 feet,
Right.
3 feet, 3/8 inch. Is that accurate?
Correct.
All right. And do you know what the distance is from the proposed new wall to the property line is?
It's 3 feet, and the new one, it's, if you look at the old one, if you go back at the page number 2, you look at the old one, you see that we are out in her line for 2 feet and 1 inch in the front. That's on the front.
Okay.
And in the back, we have, what's in the back? What do we got in the back?
All right, so it's a little less than a foot then?
46. No,
In the front is 2 feet and 1 inch.
in the front, in the front, if you see the page number 2, the old garage where it's located right now, it's 2 feet and 1 inches that we are in her side as for right now. Now, the new drawings, it shows that we will be from the line, we will be inside from the line will be 3 feet and 3/8.
In the back, only 8 inches.
And that's in the front. And in the back, it will only be 8 inches because that's how the property is set.
Right,
That's
but
how the garage is built, kind of sort of an angle.
the 3 feet, 3/8 of an inch though is from the new wall to the old wall, right?
Correct. Then that would be from the line, which that would be inside the property, correct?
Right, and the old wall is 2 feet 1 inch over the property line, right?
Correct, the old wall, yes.
So the new wall to the property line is a little under a foot, is that correct?
Correct.
All right. And the overhang from the roof, that's the short dotted line?
Yes, yes, sir. Which is only 6 inches. That would still be inside our property, which would be gutters.
Okay. And you're proposing the new garage is 12 feet 9 inches wide?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there a reason it's that width?
No, we just didn't want to get the entire garage, so we wanted to just make the garage smaller by moving that wall in.
What do you think the minimum, what do you think the minimum width
I'm
could
sorry,
be?
go ahead. The minimum width of the garage?
Yeah,
Well, usually the small garages are 9 feet.
9 feet?
You have garages, yeah, the minimum ones are 9 feet, which are those are the smallest ones that are usually built in the whole developments like complexes and stuff. But we want to save at least 85% of the garage, so we decide to only move that side of the garage so we can get this thing done and over with.
All right. And what about moving the wall that you don't want to move?
I'm sorry, go ahead again.
The
Well,
carport wall?
For instance,
carport
let's
wall,
say
right?
we didn't grant the 8-inch variance. Let's say we granted the 19 feet. The 9, let's say we didn't grant the whole variance. We granted less than what you're asking for.
Correct.
Are you able to move that other wall?
Which wall?
The carport wall, right, Paul?
Right, right.
Move
There
that
is
to the
no
left.
wall. There is no wall in the carport. It's just overhang. It's an overhang roof.
The wall, the left wall of the garage he's referring to. There is a wall there.
Oh, the left wall of the.
We don't have to move.
We don't have to move that wall
Correct.
because that is which is on the left, and we really don't have to move that wall.
Right, so I'm
You do
suggesting
if you
if,
want to make it legal on the other side.
yeah, if we don't grant the
I'm sorry?
entire variance that you're requesting, are you able to move that other wall to get the width that you want in the garage?
Well, we really don't have to do that because it is enough. It's right now. It's big. It's big enough, which we have 12 feet and 9 inches.
Paul, I don't think he understands the question.
Okay, so you need at least 9 feet, right?
Correct.
For the width of the garage.
Correct.
Okay, so if we granted less than the variance that you're requesting, so that that right wall, the wall on your neighbor's side, has to move over, if you want to maintain the width of your garage, are you able to move that other wall?
Well, the thing is then what's going to happen is we really have to knock the entire garage down because there was nothing else that we can save to the garage. The roof needs to go down, everything, the slab, everything needs to go down.
Okay, all right. Those are all the questions that I have. Tony?
Can I
Thank you.
Oh.
ask, before we move on to the board members, can I just ask, did I hear that the overhang of the roof is still projecting onto the neighbor's property?
No, ma'am. This is on the left, which is in our property. That's on the left side.
We're talking about the
So
right
on-
side.
So no
The
portion
right
of
side.
No, it's 8 inches and the overhang is 6 inches.
The right side by the neighbor's garage in the back, all the way with the new drawings, in the back of the garage, you have 8 inches. And overhang, where the gut is going to be and soffits will be 6 inches, and we'll still have 2 inches in the back. I'm talking in the back. We'll still have 2 inches with the gutters and everything. We'll still have 2 inches in our side. And up front, all the way on the front. On the right side, we have 3 feet and 3/8.
You know,
Is that from
you
the
keep saying that, but
property
that's not
line,
accurate.
Or is that from where it is now? You don't
I'm
have
sorry,
3
go ahead
feet
again.
from your property line. We're
Go
not,
ahead again.
for
I didn't hear.
purposes of what's before the board, we're not concerned with what existed. We're concerned with where you're going to be from the property line on that right side.
I am trying. Yeah, I'm trying to explain that at the front of the garage, from the property line, the new drawings at the front, it's 3 feet and 3/8 away from the property line.
That's not consistent with your drawing, with your survey.
Which that goes with the survey, because the way the garage is built, right, the way the property is set, it's on an angle. So when the garage was built, it was square. So that's how, the way you see the drawing, that's why you see those lines, and that's why it's crooked.
All right, so the survey that I'm looking at and the drawing that I'm looking at indicates 3 feet, 3/8 of an inch from the proposed new wall from the old wall, not from the property line.
Correct.
So there's still just, the new wall would still be just a foot from, or a little less than a foot from the property line. Do you agree with that?
Let me see that. So,
The survey shows that the existing wall is 2 feet, 1 inch over the property line. If the new wall is 3 feet, 3/8 of an inch from the old wall, it's a little less than a foot from the property line.
so 3 feet, 3/8.
And I know this because I've been doing first grade math with my granddaughter, so I'm clear on this addition condition.
You are absolutely correct, because we had to redo these plans twice because they asked, the lady from the town of Gibson, she asked us, so that's why I was a little confused. So you are right.
Okay. I just want to make sure that you understand what I'm
Correct.
thinking, okay?
So the dimension that we're actually missing, and the dimension that should have been advertised for this public hearing, is whatever the dimension is from the edge of the wall to the current property line, which looks like it's 8 inches in the rear and something less than that we don't have the dimension in the front, correct? From the front right corner of the garage to the property line. We
No,
don't
there's
have that
more,
dimension.
there's more distance from the proposed wall to the property line in the front than in the back.
Okay.
Yes,
So the closest is in the rear.
correct.
Did you have anything else, Lisa?
So by extension, then we advertised for the 8 inches from the side, and we advertised for 2 feet, roughly 4.5 from the rear. And so I'm just making sure our advertising was correct. We legally know this, we're good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Tony, do you have any questions?
Were there or are there any gutters on the garage right now?
No, sir.
There's none.
No, sir.
Okay. It is, you're proposing a 6-inch gutter on the, a 6-inch wide gutter, deep gutter?
We can do 5-inch.
We can do 5-inch to 5-inch too. I mean, the smallest we can go, as long as we can get the water.
I'm not concerned with making it smaller. I'm concerned with the ability to accept whatever runoff from the roof.
We can do 6 inches.
We can do 6 inches. It's not a problem.
And where would those gutters drain to? Or to where would those gutters drain? Don't want to end the sentence in a preposition.
Get after the garage on the north side.
They will go in the back of the garage and direct it to our side of the property.
And there would just be on on the,
On the lawn.
on your neighbor's side, there would only be one, drainage, downspout, or would there be two?
One downspout in the
And
back.
that would be towards what, the rear of the property, towards the 8-inch side, or towards the 3-foot,
the
side?
8-inch side. The 8-inch side.
But that would drain, you would have, tell me about how that would drain away.
We are gonna run once we have the downspout. We will run the line so it can go all the way by the carport, which is the other corner of the garage, and so it can drain directly in our lawn.
And how will you be able to install and maintain that without trespassing on the neighbor's property?
From the back?
From the back, we have enough space in the back.
So the downspout from the end of the drain would run parallel to the back of the garage in towards your property?
Yes, sir.
I guess that's all the questions I had.
Art?
Yeah, well, number one, I don't think anywhere in this world that 8 inches is enough to maintain that down that gutter in the back of the property. Unless you're really, really thin. There's no way in this world you can get a ladder up there and maintain that without being on the neighbor's property. But I'm wondering, go ahead.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We can
Go.
have, I mean, the roof is pretty low, so we can always clean them and stuff from the roof. We can clean the gutters, maintain them, install them. We can do all of that from the roof.
I find that very hard to believe. My thought here is that, you know, I know we've all been cooped up. I rode by there again. This is just a couple of blocks from my house. I don't see this gaining the neighbor anything whatsoever, other than maybe 3 or 4 inches at the front of the property line. What would the landowner's thoughts be on holding this off for one more month, and hopefully this COVID thing will allow us to go out and really look at this and address this and maybe have him there this time? Because this is very vague, not to be unfair to the homeowner, but, you know, he first started out saying we're 3 feet plus from the front. Now he's saying he agrees with the chairman that we're only 2 feet approximately from the front line. So this is kind of going in circles as far as I'm concerned, and not being there and not having a good visual is not conducive to a good answer, a good fair answer to the homeowner, I don't believe.
Well,
My thoughts would be we adjourn this.
I'm sure you guys have all the plans in there, right?
Plans are different than visual and being there. You know that yourself, I believe.
Right, correct.
What?
Also, there was a couple people from the town who were there in person and looked at the garage. When the last
Right.
meeting that we had, there were a couple of them that they looked at the garage already.
The last meeting I was there as well, but this is not the last meeting. This is things that have changed, and I don't see that this change is gaining the neighbor any satisfaction whatsoever. That's why my strong suggestion is that we possibly put this off until June, when hopefully we'll all be able to get out and about and maybe meet with you and have some face-to-face thoughts and put this plan that's on paper to a good visual. That's just my opinion, because I am not comfortable with this the way it is right now. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, I like that, Art. I think this really needs, we'll all wear masks, but it'd be a lot better if we could be there and speak face to face with all the,
Exactly. I mean, we're almost halfway through this month anyway. So that's my strong opinion, because again, I am not in favor of your presentation, and I will be very fair and very honest with you on that one. So.
Well, to begin with, I mean, the neighbor wanted the garage, portion of the garage, out of her property line, or literally out of her property, which it is built on her property, a portion of it that we did not know about it when we bought the building. That didn't even show up in the title. Kind of, we got stuck with it. So we did get the survey done. We did get the plans done, showing that we are going to take that portion of her property. And not
I don't think you're understanding my concern. Let me state my concern one more time. what you're proposing, to me, does not satisfy the neighbor in any manner. My suggestion, I don't know about the rest of the board, is to hold off till June, if you're willing to do that, when we can have a more of a visual understanding of what you think you're doing versus what the paper says you're doing, and possibly have you there this time and meet with us, and we can all go over this as a group and get a better idea of exactly what you're saying. Paper presentations in a meeting like this, again, we're in a very unusual situation. We all know that. But a paper presentation, and you're bouncing back and forth between your distances, to me, it's not a good idea. But you're the homeowner, you do what you wish.
No, I mean, I want to be on the same board with you guys, but I just don't think it's fair for us as well, going back and forth with this. I mean, we cooperated
Well,
with everything
you know,
as far as getting the survey done.
Let me interrupt you, sir. Let me interrupt you, sir. Fairness here. Yeah, you bought a home that did not meet the zoning requirements. Yes, that's a given. Okay. Part of that may have been your fault because you did not get it surveyed before you bought it. Okay. But that doesn't negate the fact that the other homeowner has a lot to lose if we do not handle this fairly to her. And we have to look at it on her side of the line too.
And Art,
That's my opinion. You do what you want, but
Hey, Art?
I think you should get an idea of where I'm going with this. I'm done.
When we got the property,
Oh my God.
all that it came around in a title search, it came to the carport, was the only issue. And we were ready to take that carport down. We were willing to take it down. That was the carport. That was the issue. We take it down. And then later on, this comes in. We bought the property because of the garage.
Mr. Sahidi, I don't believe you're understanding where I'm going.
So
Paul,
Why
I
don't I interrupt for just a moment? And let's see if anybody else has any comments that
Good
help
idea.
with this. So, Larry?
Hello.
Larry, are you there?
got to unmute himself.
Larry, you're muted.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
muted.
there I go.
I just unmuted.
Okay.
Yeah,
Larry,
I
do
agree
you have any
with,
questions?
No, I agree with having a senior moment with
Art?
the guy who just spoke.
That would be me. Art?
Yes.
Okay.
Art, right. I agree with Art.
There you go.
Okay. Christine, do you have any questions?
I was concerned about the gutters and the water going onto the neighbor's property too, so it probably would be a good idea to go back and take a closer look. And just see how everything would be situated.
Could I just interject one more item? Art had suggested, possibly adjourning this to the next meeting, which would be June 8th. But I'm wondering how likely it would be that we'd be able to get together for a field trip at least a week in advance of that. And I'm trying to look out for the applicant's benefit. Would it be more prudent to put it off to the July meeting if we're going to adjourn it, so that we know we will have the opportunity to meet? Because if everything doesn't go 100% according to plan, the likelihood of 5, 6 of us getting out to the property prior to the June 8th meeting and meeting with the applicant and the neighbor is I would tend to say, if I rolled the dice, that might not happen.
Okay.
So if we're going to adjourn it, I mean, we can do it to June 8th, but I'm thinking that the likelihood that it's all going to fall into place, just the way things have been going, is that it might be more prudent to do July. But, it's up to the applicant.
All right. Phyllis?
I do have some questions for Mr. Seedy. sir, you're gonna have to remove that one wall, correct? The right wall
Yes.
on this garage. And
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
gonna move it in. So my
Yes.
question is, why can't you move it in more? What am I missing? Because the whole thing is gonna need to be reconfigured. So if you move your whole right wall and then you move the left wall, you would indeed have the width that you want. Your neighbor would have some space, more than 8 inches. I mean, 8 inches is like a shoe size at the back. And I am concerned about the runoff water as well. So the first question, you can't just shift the whole garage?
No, because that would cost me thousands of dollars.
Well,
It's not,
that's not the
it's
neighbor's
not gonna
problem.
cost,
Well,
it's not,
let me just put this out there because somebody just said that it's not somebody's problem.
no, I didn't
This
say
lady,
that.
no,
I
this
did.
lady, no, okay, so this lady's been complaining since 1993 about this garage. And she had proof that she had been complaining since 1993 for it. And finally it came to an end, which we are paying the price for all these years. And for us to knock the garage down or make it smaller or whatever, it's gonna lose the value of our property.
So here's what I'm hearing from the members of the board.
What about the neighbor, the value of the neighbor's property? I'm
Yeah.
with her. I understand that. I'm with her. But why wasn't nothing done since she had proof? She said it in the last meeting. She's been
You're
complaining
going the wrong way with
since
this.
1993.
Okay,
I'm
so
not.
You're going the wrong
let me
way
inter-
with this.
let me interrupt for just a moment. What I'm hearing from the members of the board is that they're not comfortable in granting your variance. However, they want some additional time to take a look at it and meet with you and I believe with the neighbor to see if there's some resolution that satisfies everybody. To do that, you're going to need to request an adjournment. If you don't do that and there's a vote tonight, my inclination, or from what I'm hearing, the impression I'm getting from each of the members of the board is that you would not be successful. So I'm suggesting, as other members of the board have suggested, that you request an adjournment for some further consideration of the matter. It's completely up to you, but it's my impression that if you ask for a vote tonight, you would not be successful.
So, request adjournment.
But before you decide that, is there anyone else in the audience that wants to comment on this application?
I'm good, Chairman.
How much you guys want?
All right. I don't hear anyone from the audience.
Janet would like to speak.
Okay.
I do not believe, I don't understand what his survey is showing. I had submitted my survey. The garage is from front to back, sits on my property line.
Oh, yeah, this
So
survey
I don't
confirms
know
that.
if he proposed-
This is a
sorry.
survey of proposed new garage inside the property line, and it's just unclear about how much it is inside the property line in a portion of the survey.
Right, on how he wants to move it.
Right.
Ms.
So once
Shapiro,
again,
were you able to view the plans that are online? To show the garage there on the town's website?
no, I was not to say, I wasn't able to.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
if the board agrees, I could take these plans and drop them off with her, because she's, like I say, she's only 2 blocks from the house. And that would give her time to look them over with the assumption that we're going to adjourn this. If that pleases the board and the homeowner.
That's fine with me, but again, it's up to the applicant.
Oh, I understand that. That's what I said. I understand that.
For
So
when
could I just ask
Yeah, go ahead.
one question? Is he proposing that this garage is going to then be on an angle?
It's slightly on an angle, yes, to the property line.
With how much room in the front?
It looks like about a foot, just under a foot in the front, and then 8 inches in the rear from the property line.
Yeah. Okay, so I do have to strongly say that I don't feel that this is rectifying any problem that is already there.
Okay, so again, to the applicant, how do you want to proceed?
Before we move to that, there is also the issue of the deck. Do we want to address these possibly separately?
Could you hear what she said?
I
What
did
deck?
not.
Sorry.
Lisa, could you say that again, please?
There is also the issue, doesn't the application to also legalize a deck, which was located
Yeah, there's
on-
an existing deck on the other side of the house also.
That was granted.
No, the deck was granted, and we have all the paperwork, but there is no deck there.
We have an application, I thought, for the deck to be 1.5 feet from the property line, where it was granted to be 1 foot. Has the
That
deck
was-
been removed?
That was the previous owner, and it was granted.
It was granted for 1 foot. For 1.5 feet, and it's closer than was granted. Is the deck existing?
No,
The deck has been removed.
yes.
Okay, then we can deem that portion of the application withdrawn then. You're not intending to put the deck back?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, Lisa, on our motion, can we adjourn it until July?
Yes. The board has the ability to do that.
Let's see what the July meeting is.
July meeting would be July 13th.
Okay. So I make a motion to adjourn item number 3 to the July 13th ZBA meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second that, Paul.
That was Art? Okay. All those in favor signify by aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, it's carried 6-0. Okay. Thanks very much. We're going to move to item number 4. Carewood Ventures offices, Carewood Ventures, 240 Van Wagner Road.
Good evening.
Hi, excuse me, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to provide tonight is true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, it is. And yes, I do. If it's okay, I'm going to share my screen, Mr. Chairman.
Yep, go ahead, Ken.
Everyone can see it, correct?
It's up,
Yes.
yep.
Yes.
So this application is for a commercial office building, and it's actually legalizing an existing condition on one of the lots that was part of an application that was just recently approved by the planning board for a lot line alteration between two lots, and conditionally approved office building, 4,400 square foot office building on the two lots. To give you an understanding, lot 2, as shown here, is the existing lot, and lot 1 is an existing lot. The approval that was granted by the planning board created 2 lots with a slightly different orientation, but lot 2 and the operations of Corwood Ventures remains the same. at this point. This here is all existing. This is what is been recently approved by the planning board. The matter that we're here for is the salt shed that is existing back here on the property is or was built over the property line. During the review at the planning board, there were a couple items that Lizette identified that were non-conforming items that never had any approvals granted, whether they were ZBA or building permits. Some of the items has to do with some of these structures that are mainly portable garages and Connex box trailers, as well as this office building here. Part of the project for the site plan that was approved on Lot 1 will remove this office building entirely and relocate these portable sheds and structures outside of the setback. The salt shed is a structure that's not easily moved, as it's been there since about the 1990s. And as you can see, this is the salt shed here. It is a physical structure in the back with a roof on it. The existing grade there for that salt shed is about 156, and the top of the hill behind it, as it's kind of stuck in there, is about 49 feet of height difference of 205. In an aerial view, again, here is the salt shed. This is the approximate location of the property line, and the variance obviously is for here, in this location here. The variance is to go from 50 feet to 16.8 feet for a variance amount of 33.2 feet for the existing structure. Thank you.
So I would note that this is an unlisted action. The planning board gave a negative declaration,
Yes, at the meeting on April 30th, planning board gave a negative. Yeah,
and the county has said it's a matter of local concern.
correct.
I don't have any questions. Anthony? Tony?
I have no questions. Thank you for the Anthony.
Okay. Art?
No questions.
Larry?
No questions.
Christine?
No questions. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Phyllis?
So I noted that it's in a floodplain, the 100-year floodplain.
No,
By
actually, it's not. I'll pull it up again if I can. Let's go backwards here. So the floodplain is out here. This is the flood line.
Okay,
It's just outside of the flood line, and it's outside of the New York State DEC buffer. It is all above it. This area here is above the floodplain. The floodplain is this side of that line that goes right through here.
so we don't need to worry about the creek coming through and,
Correct.
okay. And I was confused by the kind of sanitation that it has, the property has. Is it sewer or is it septic?
This is septic now,
Okay.
and that is going to be removed because this whole office building goes away, and
Okay.
we're connecting out front. We're working on an agreement with the town board for connection into the municipal sewer system because we're just outside the district. So there's an existing sewer line out front that goes right here in Van Wagner. That for another parcel, we're just working on getting a sewer tenancy agreement to connect into it. The town board has agreed to that. We're just working out the legal documents for that.
All right, thank you.
You're
No
welcome.
further questions.
Is there anyone from the public that wishes to comment on this application? Hearing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So move.
So moved. This is Art.
Second?
You got those? Okay. All those in favor signify by aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, that carries 6-0. Now we're on to item number 5. Mr. Kessler. You need to unmute yourself. There you go.
Oh, my bad.
Okay.
Mr. Kessler, do you
Sorry.
swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to provide tonight is true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
I absolutely do.
Okay, why don't you tell us what you want to do?
Looking to build a shed at the corner of my property. And as I understand, a 10-foot setback is required, and I'm requesting to make it 5 feet.
For both the side and the rear setbacks?
Side and the rear, yes, sir.
Okay. And how big is the shed?
The shed is 12 foot by 20 foot.
And about how tall do you think it will be?
I propose a 512 pitch on an 8-foot wall, so it's about 11 feet. It's coming up on 11 feet.
Okay. And on the side lot line, your neighbor has a wooden fence there, right?
That is correct. I did take pictures and can share them if, I did send them in also, but I'm not sure how that got distributed or not. But I can share a photo of the site.
Okay. And what will the shed be made out of?
It will be standard stick frame, 2x4s, 2x6 rafters, T111 painted in earth tones with a weathered wood or similar roof, asphalt shingle.
Okay. Tony, do you have any questions?
Nope, no questions.
Art?
What size, I'm sorry, what size was the shed again? I'm sorry.
12 by 20.
12 by 20, okay. And why do you want it so far in the back away from the house? Is there a reason it can't be off the property line a little bit more?
Just trying to maximize my yard. We have an open Forever Green. It's owned by St. Martin's Forest behind us. So if you look at my property, it kind of looks very large, but it's on 0.6 of an acre. I could share the picture right now if I give me 1 second.
Well, I appreciate that, but I'm not, I can't see the picture, but I appreciate the other folks can.
Okay.
Okay.
So it would just be to maximize what I have in my backyard.
Okay, but property-wise, there's no septic, there's nothing there that moving the shed would
No, sir.
cause a big impact? Okay.
No, sir. No, sir. There's a stockade fence. My neighbor gave me his blessing and so forth. I was just requesting.
That's what okay, so I was out there, but it didn't make sense because I didn't stop and talk to anything. So the St. Martin's or the property, you say that Forever Green is on which border, the 185?
Is the backside, my rear property line. St. Martin's owns across the back, so I don't have any ability other than to keep it pretty. So.
Okay. And your neighbors okay with that?
They absolutely
We haven't heard
are.
from the neighbors?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I'm all set, Paul. Thank you.
Okay. Larry?
No questions.
Christine?
No questions.
And Phyllis?
No questions.
Anyone from the public have any comments on this application? Hearing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? All right, that will close, that's carries 6-0. Okay, so are you ready to deliberate? Let's see. We'll go to number 4. Anybody have any issues with that?
Not I.
No, I don't.
No problem.
No, it needs some cleaning up.
Yeah.
Actually, you know, it'll make a nice change back there.
Okay, Christine, do you mind doing the motion?
Sure, no problem. Give me 1 moment here,
And you
please.
do all have a staff report, right? So you have.
Yes. Okay. Number 4. I move that the board approve the request for an area variance set forth in item number 4. This decision is based on a review of the application, testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in the public hearing, and results of site visits by board members. In approving this variance, the board adopts the findings as set forth in the staff report. So moved.
Is there a second?
Art, second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Then it carries 6-0.
Thank you, everyone.
On to item number 5, 4 Lynn Road, a request to 5-foot side variance and 5-foot rear variance. Any comments on that?
No.
All right. Art, do you mind doing the next motion? Oh, well, let me make some findings. Regarding an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood, it seems appropriate for the neighborhood. There are other sheds in the neighborhood. It's enough space for that. There's no other way to provide this benefit to the applicant without an area variance unless he does move it in the middle of his backyard. Although it's substantial, there's a 50% mathematic variance. In terms of the property, it's not significant. The back, as pointed out, the rear lot line there's a significant amount of space that's unusable that belongs to the neighbor. And on the side lot, there's a high wooden fence which would cut down any impact from the side yard variance. And I find that there's no adverse effect on the physical or environmental, or the environment. And although it is self-created, that's not a reason to deny the variance. And those are my findings.
Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Art?
Aye. Okay. I move that the board approve the request for an area variance set forth in item 5. This decision is based on a review of the application, testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in the public hearing, and results of site visits by board members. In approving this variance, the board adopts the findings as set forth by the chair. I don't think there are any other constraints. So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Christine? Okay. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Are there any
Aye.
opposed? Then the motion carries 6-0. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
There are 2 final items. There's a request for the planning board to be lead agency on the BB3 Springside development, Springside Avenue, as well as,
The foam and wash.
and the foam and wash.
Yeah. On Side Road.
Are there any objections to the planning board being the lead agency on these 2 items?
I'm okay with it.
Okay, then I'll make a motion that the planning board be the lead agency on those 2 items.
I'll second that.
You got Art? Okay. All those in favor signify by aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Then that motion carries 6-0. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Hey, Paul,
Yes?
before we adjourn, this is having a big impact on our viewing audience. You know that, right? Barbara, I think is the only one who watches. She can't watch it on TV, so we have to get over this.
Well, wait a second. Judy used to watch me also because it was my only claim to fame. So we're down 100%.
But used to. Okay. So
We'll keep those cards and letters coming in.
Yeah. I'm in favor of adjourning.
Okay.
Or,
Was there a second?
Second?
All those in favor signify by aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Then that motion carries 6-0. Thank you very much. See you next month.
Be safe.
Good night, everyone.
Be safe, everybody.
All right, thank you.
Thank you,
Good
everyone.
night. Thank you.
The Secchi commercials.
The time I have it at 6:55.
You're pretty efficient.